So this is the sales data. And we can see the tab here, this is the 2020 sales for this company called UBG. We can see the order ID, the product ID, location ID. So all the different IDs from the other tables are here. But this is the sales data set for 2020. And I mean, we do our normal check of while we try to understand this, we can look through as well just to ensure that we don't have any missing data and stuff like that in this data set. Okay, so seeing salesperson, location ID, product ID, order ID, that gives it away aside the name of the table itself. And we can see the date, the purchase date. We can see the quantities that were purchased. We can see the price. And this is just, I believe this would have been a column I added for practice. It's not originally part of this data set. So we're going to ignore this. This part. It's not relevant to what we are doing today. So, and then we've got the 2019 sales. You know, and I mean, this data set is clean, it's fine. And if it's not clean, let's not forget we're taking it into Power BI anyway. We can always do cleaning in the Power Query. So the same sort of information, but for 2019 now, as we can see through the date here, you know. Again, we ignore this. And the 2018 sales as data set as well. So what I found though is that within the 2018, we have within the 2018 sales data set, we have the 2019 sales data set as well. So this bit is a mix of. So doing a thorough job would be ensuring that 2019 that we have here is also not repeated here. You know, I would work to ensure that that's not really happening. And then we have other tabs, you know. So it's safe to say that we have 3 fact tables, you know, in this data set. We have something called name group, which is, again, this is not going to be relevant to what we are doing today. We have category group. I don't believe this is relevant either. Branch, expenses, you know. Then we've got the products data. So all the IDs we have here, product ID, location ID, salesperson ID, customer ID. So these 4 other tables, IDs, will be captured from these 4 tables here: products, location, customer, and salesperson. Those are the tabs that are relevant to what we are doing today. So again, we are going to ignore category, branch, expenses, and product data is just a repetition. It's just a duplicate from here. Okay, so we can use either one of these two. Okay, and what we are going to be making or generating, the sort of report we are generating, is this. You know, we want to analyze the sales performance over the years within this data set for this company. Okay, we want to look at total sales by county because we have location in that data set. We want to see by date over the years. We also want to see by customer and by products and by location as well. Okay. We also want to see the KPIs, the total sales, total profits, and all of that that was made across the whole data, the whole 3 years represented in that data set. That's the major aim, of this exercise. So if we can take a screenshot of this, because we're going to start off, but I believe as we're not going to finish in this class, but so for some of us, I would be happy to just, carry on after the class and build. Then you would have this to guide you in terms of your business requirement. So I'll say, take a screenshot of this. We don't have to use the colors here that I used. Okay, so you can choose your own theme that you want to create your report with. But the only compulsory thing is we are showing this total sales by county, by date, by customer name, by product, and by location. And we are putting these slides as the dates in terms of the years and the quarter. So we want to see all of this by year and by quarter, okay? And we want to see all of these KPIs. So that's what it's going to be. Now I'm going to close this and then we will start. Okay. And I'm just going to open a new one, a brand new Power BI desktop page. Whilst we wait for that to load, or as it is loading, so far, do we have any question, any queries at all? Any questions so far? Is there anything that's not clear about the data set that we are about to use?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
I wanted to ask yesterday, but where I was yesterday, I cannot speak.
Yeah.
Please, ma'am, I don't know if you can able to explain remove column. And secondly, add column. In add column, we have column from all.
Yeah.
A column from example. So if you can explain that one as well for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Yes, I can touch on that as we start to work now. We can, branch into that to use within this data set just to show you how that works or how those work. Okay. And we're going to make the class a little interactive. So I'm here. This is my page afresh.
Sorry, sister, but before you continue, the data set, is it the one you shared today?
Yes, the one I just a minute ago.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So I want to get my data set. I want to get the data that we just saw now and start work. What's the first thing I'm doing? And how do I go about doing that, please? I need help in the next 1 minute, very quickly.
Do we go to get data?
Get data, thank you. Okay, I'm on get data now. What next?
I think it's an Excel workbook.
Okay, so I'll go for the Excel workbook. And I believe it would be here somewhere where, let me type it here. Okay, copy of yeah, it's this one. And I click on that. Thank you very much for your help.
Okay.
Share that. Okay, now we are waiting for the navigator comes, and this is what leads us into the Power Query. And we can see all of the data, the tables that we saw earlier. This is all of them. I'm just gonna wait for all of that loading to occur, and it's happened. And we're just gonna pick the ones that we need from these options, okay? We do know that products, okay, we know that we need salespeople. Now let's be very careful here. I see a lot of duplication happening, okay? So We know that we don't need a branch group. We don't need category group, but we need the customer data. So I'll click on that for now, and we can see the preview of it here as well. We are not working with expenses today, so I'm not bringing that in. We do need the location data, so we'll bring that in. Name group, not necessary. Now I see products data 2, products data 2, and there's still products data somewhere here. Okay, so any one of them will do. Any one of them will do. So I'm just gonna pick on products, salespeople. Yes, we do need salespeople. You see, I saw location data here, and I still see location here. I'm just gonna pick one of each of anything that's duplicated anyway. I think I've picked customer already. Yes. What else do we need? We're not going with 2015, 16, 17. No, we are just going to use 2018, 2019, 2020. Okay. You may decide to go with the other ones in your own work, but because we didn't open those to see what they look like, and I didn't even say we were going to use them anyway. That's why I'm not, going with those. We've picked customers, we've picked, let's see, customers, location, the 3 facts tables, and then products. I think that's all we need, and then salespeople. Yeah, I believe that's all we need. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, what should I do? Should I just load, or should I click on transform data first?
We transform.
Transform data, thank you very much. So I click on transform data, and it's bringing us into the actual Power Query. And here comes the Power Query editor with the tables that we decided to bring in. And it's landed us on the 2020 sales, And in the applied steps, we can see, that there's a few steps that have been done. It's promoted the header. So if I go to source, it started from the source, which is all of that, and then navigation, which is that. And while we are on navigation, we can see that the column headers are on row 1 instead of being in where we have column 1, 2, 3, And so because of that, it's gone on to automatically promote the headers for us. Normally we would have done that step manually, but these days Power BI has been, made so sensitive such that it will just go on to, perform a step that it believes you may need. And you can always take those steps out if it's not in accordance with what you really want. But in this case, I think it's done right by us. And it's changed type. It's changed type, and it's highlighting order ID. So it's on a change type on order ID. And I'm fine with this. We can leave it as text. I mean, it's got text and number, but it doesn't really matter. And if we have a quick look through these data types, okay, the ones that we can be really very fussy about, the dates, and it's seeing it as dates there. The quantity as number, it's seeing it as number. The price, yes, which you can decide to. I mean, it's okay to have your price as number, but you can decide so that it looks more like money because it's currency anyway. You can decide to go with fixed decimal, and it's saying, do I want to replace current? Yes, I want to do that. And it's changed that. So that looks more like we're dealing with currency. But the number it had there before would not have affected our calculation at all. Mr. Sonny, you were talking about how to remove column. So I did say that these last 2 columns, we're not going to use them. They are not relevant now. So I'm just going to click the 2 and right click and remove them. So you can either remove them here or you can remove them from here. So if I say remove columns, it will remove those ones. If I had chosen remove other columns, it would have kept those one and removed the rest. But that's not what we want. We just wanted to remove those two. Okay, so that's how that works. And I believe this will need to do the same for 2019 as well. Okay. Again, it's done the same steps for all of the 2019 sales. And I'm just going to get rid of those last two columns that are not relevant. And we can change this also to fixed decimal. And quantity is number, that is date. The rest can remain ABC. That's fine. And the same would happen with 2018 sales data as well. So the same change I'm going to perform on this. Yes, replace current, and let's get rid of this last column. We don't need it. Okay. Now it would be nice to have all three of these tables because they are the same. In terms of structure and in terms of the function they are doing, they are performing in this report. Let's have, instead of having three different fact tables, let's have one massive one. So we're going to need to combine the three of them. Okay. So how do I combine these three together? Mind you, they have the same data structure in terms of, if you look here, look at my cursor, we've got 8 columns and as many rows as possible. They don't have the same number of rows, and that's irrelevant anyway, but they have the same number of columns. If I click on here as well, it's 8, and on here as well, it's also 8. Apart from that, the column headers are named exactly the same way. That is important in the next operation we're about to perform. Okay, so order ID is order ID here, it's also order ID here, and it's in the same position. Okay, and the same goes for product ID. So each of these are in the same position in each of these three tables. They are all named alike and they all have the same data type. Fulfilling those conditions mean we can actually perform a certain operation that we have learned. We learned in the last 2 lessons. Who can remind me? I need help, I've forgotten. Which of the functions are we going to use to combine these three?
Append.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, it's append. We need to append them. And how append works is, it's just going to add 20. So if we choose 2018 first, we'll just bring 2019 below. So there's extra rows added from 2019 and then extra rows added from 2020. So we make one massive table, which we can just call sales data. And so I'm going into append now. And if I click on the drop down, I'm not going to append as new because I don't want that extra load. So I'm just going to append. And I've got more than 2 tables. So there is an option for 3 or more tables here. So I'm just going to go straight to that. And on clicking that, it brings all of the tables here. So I can add which table it is I want to append. At the moment, we are on 2018 sales. And that's why that is labeled current there and it's already chosen. All right, anyway. So I'm going straight to 2019 and 2020. Okay, so those I'm going to append or combine together. And I'm just going to do an OK. Okay. So in your appending, in the appending that we've done now, 8 columns must be maintained. So, and I'm looking at the profile here, the information here, I can see that we actually have 8 columns. And I'm supposed to actually also go through and check, okay, to be sure that there is no trouble with this step that we have done just now, and there is no trouble at all with it. So I'm going to rename this because it's not just 2018 data set anymore. It's got all the 3 years in it now. Okay, so if I sort descending, just so we see, yeah, we can see we've got 2020 there, and 2019 at some point, which we may not see now because there's so many rows to go through. So I'm going to remove that last step. I was just confirming that, you know, everything is there. So I'm going to rename this to just sales data. Okay. All right. And so this is going to act as our main sales table. We won't really be doing much with this last two. We won't be doing anything with the last two, but let's not forget that they are feeding into this main one right now anyway, so they are still relevant. We can't delete them. So we move to sales table for salespeople table rather. Okay, and it hasn't done okay, this needs some tender loving care, because I can see that we need a step here. We've got our header as row 1. So how do I correct this so that we don't have column 1, column 2? We need salesperson ID to be on top. We need salesperson name to be on top. I need help. What should I do?
Use first row as header, I think.
Thank you. Yes, we use first row as header. And when we use first row as header, we have that sorted for us. And I'm looking at the data types. That is fine. We are fine with those data types. Okay. It's because this is a salesperson ID, salesperson table rather. It's just a lookup table. So this must not have a duplicate in it. So it's good to just as a matter of this, especially the ID. I mean, names can be the same. So that's why it's good to ensure that there is a column that's really very unique. However, if it's not really within your data set, it's necessary that you form it in, make it as unique as possible. So I'm just going to remove duplicates from here. Thank you very much. I'm going to remove duplicates. It's not like we've said it's there. I'm just fulfilling all righteousness now. Okay. And we're going into products table. Products table has product ID, product's name, cost. Okay. Original sales price, current price. Okay. So we've got all of those information. And then we've got a few trouble in paradise here. Okay. Column 7, all no. Column 8, all no. Okay. Column 9 is just a side table, I believe, that we saw in that data set that can actually go. And then we've got, yeah, these two were just like standbys in that data set. So I'm going to take these 4 out because they are not bringing any value to whatever we are doing now. Original, so, and the prices here, cost, money, we can change those. Again, not compulsory, but it's just good for the sake of, you know, what we are actually doing. Let's and that's it about this. So the product ID should be unique as well. So you might want to, you might want to remove any duplicates, you know, that's here as well. So that's as much as we can take for this evening. We've got 3 minutes more of class. Is there any question at this point? Do you think you can, you know, pick up this data set and do good justice to it as much as possible, with how much we have learned in Power BI and Power Query? such that when we come back tomorrow, you would have moved beyond what we've done in class just today. Would that be possible, SARS and MAS?